Nothing can get me into fall like some Twilight books. Hi everyone, my name is Suze and this is my very first booktube video and I am so excited to be here. I am a lover of anything romance, contemporary romance, fantasy romance. I've been dabbling in some thriller and also literary fiction. For my first video today, I thought I would just make a list of all my fall TBR books. I live in LA. If you know, you know, fall does not start until like November. I thought I'd make this fall TBR video to get me into the spooky vibes, pretend as if I'm not melting in 100-degree weather. Let's get into it. My first book is a pretty taboo book. It's Credence by Penelope Douglas. This is also on Kindle Unlimited. So this is a book about a girl whose parents died. So she ends up moving in with her step uncle and she gets herself into a little romantic relationship with her stepbrother. I'll tell you this thing. It doesn't take much for me to turn a book down. The more taboo it is, the more interest I have. So I am excited to read this. My friends on Book Talk say they either love the book or they just can't finish it. The next book in my series is the newest release in the Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver. It's Wild Card and it's book number 4. Honestly, I don't know what this book is about. I'll read anything that Elsie writes. I feel like this series is her spiciest series yet, and I'm all for that. I love this one, followed by Chestnut Springs, followed by Gold Ranch in that order. So what I do know about this book is that it features her ex's dad. Like I said, it doesn't take much for me to turn a book down. And so there's an age gap and also forced proximity. I can't believe Elsie can write so fast, and I'm not complaining at all. She released Wild Side earlier this year, and I will admit it's not my favorite book. It's still a good, solid book. I felt like the connection between the male main character and female main character was a little surface, a little insta lusty. Elsie also announced her newest series. I think it's coming out in May of next year, and it's called the Emerald Lake series. I'm so excited. No one can do small town cowboy romances like Elsie does. Like, she is the best. The next book in my series is one that I totally judged a book by its cover. It is The Thorn Season by Kiera Azar. And how beautiful is this metallic foily pink? And oh my god, okay, let's take a moment to look at the sprayed edges and then the inside. How gorgeous. It reminds me a lot of the Huntington Library. Super beautiful. It kind of gives me Bridgerton vibes. This one features a world where wielders are hunted by none other than the ones called the Hunters. And the female main character is not only a wielder, but she comes from a family of the Hunters as well. So she finds herself in a pickle with two, I think, male interests. One is a fairy tale prince, and the other one is like a brute ruler. And I'll tell you this one thing. I love me a why choose. Considering this is a YA romantasy, I don't think there's going to be a why choose trope in here, but why have to stick with one? Why not both? And if they play fair, that's even better. This reminds me of the another controversial book, at least controversial on Reddit, The Feathers So Vicious duology, and it features one girl and two guys, and I love it because they all play nice. The next book on my TBR is one I don't have with me right here because it has not been released. It's releasing on September 23rd and is The Primal of Blood and Bone. I'm currently reading A Shadow in the Ember, which is the first book in the Flesh and Fire series. So I actually have multiple books on my TBR in this universe because I'm trying to catch up. I picked up this book because I was looking for a new book boyfriend, and let me tell you, Hawk completely checks all the boxes. Tall, dark, and handsome. He's like head over heels, like touch her and you die kind of vibes. My next one is featuring none other than Bella, Edward, and Jacob. Nothing can get me into fall like some Twilight books. This is actually like a cake topper that my fiance got from his work. Someone was having like a birthday little lunch or like cupcakes, and he got one for me. How sweet is that? I'm looking forward to the 20th anniversary set of this entire series. How gorgeous is this? I love when publishers do anniversary sets the right way. Actually, there's really no right or wrong way, but I'll say that the Night Court editions of the ACOTAR books, I still bought them, but they were a little underwhelming. They were just all black. They look nice on my bookshelf. How will the next book in the series match the ones I currently have? But whatever, that's a problem for the future. Okay, and then nothing can get you into spooky vibes like a thriller. And the thriller queen, in my opinion, is Frida McFadden. The thing about thriller books with me is sometimes it kind of is a little cringy, but I feel like you can't have a thriller book without someone being like kind of cuckoo. So, anyway, The Tenant features a guy who owns his house. He loses his job, so he ends up renting one of the rooms out to someone who appears to be very normal tenant. And then he starts hearing odd noises and like smell of like decay and rot. I don't blame him for trying to make ends meet. You got to do what you got to do. But if someone like that lived in my house, I would be like saging everything. And then last but not least is a gothic romance fantasy novel. It's called Anathema by Carrie Lake. This is the second one in her series, and the first one is featured in a world where the female main character runs into like this forbidden forest, and she runs into the male main character Zavander, and he is after her blood because her blood fulfills a prophecy. He runs into a little pickle because he ends up falling in love with her. I feel like Carrie Lake is that she's one of my top authors, and this book is also on Kindle Unlimited. I loved Nocticadia from her. That was a gothic university setting. It is a very spooky book and very spicy. There's this one scene where she ends up like sleeping in his office because like she can't like go anywhere else. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. Thank you for hanging out with me and hearing me yap about my fall TBR. And also let me know what's on your fall TBR. Thank you for being here, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.